The Bernese Alps, German, Berner Alpen, French, Alps Bernoses, Italian, Alpi Bernesi, are a mountain range of the Alps, located in western Switzerland. Although the name suggests that they are located in the Berner Oberland region of the canton of Bern, portions of the Bernese Alps are in the adjacent cantons of Valais, Fribourg and Vaud, the latter being usually named Fribourg Alps and Vaud Alps respectively. The highest mountain in the range, the Finsteraarhorn, is also the highest point in the canton of Bern. The Rhone Valley separates them from the Chablis Alps in the west and from the Pennine Alps in the south. The Upper Rhone Valley separate them from the Lapontine Alps to the southeast. The Grimsel Pass and the Ahr Valley separates them from the Uri Alps in the east and from the Emmental Alps in the north. Their northwestern edge is not so well defined, describing a line roughly from Lake Geneva to Lake Thun. The Bernese Alps are drained by the river Ahr and its tributary the Seine in the north, the Rhone in the south, and the Reuss in the east. Geography: one of the most considerable alpine ranges. The Bernese Alps extend from the gorge of St. Moritz, through which the Rhone finds its way to Lake Geneva, to the Grimsel Pass or, depending on the definition, to the river Reuss, thus including the Uri Alps. The principal ridge, a chain that runs 100 kilometers, 62 miles, from west, Dinsamorkels, to east, Seidelhorn, whose highest peak is the Finsteraarhorn, forms the watershed between the cantons of Bern and Valais. Except for the westernmost part, it is also the watershed between the Rhine, North Sea, and the Rhone, Mediterranean Sea. This chain is not centered inside the range but lies close, 10 to 15 kilometers, to the Rhone on the south. This makes a large difference between the south, where the lateral short valleys descend abruptly into the deep trench forming the valley of the Rhone, and the north, where the Bernese Alps extends through a great part of the canton of Bern, Bernese Oberland, throwing out branches to the west into the adjoining cantons of Vaud and Fribourg. There the mountains progressively become lower and disappear into the hilly Swiss plateau. The main chain west of Gemmi Pass consists mainly of a few large prominent summits, as the Wildhorn, slightly above 3,000 meters, 9,800 feet, generally covered by glaciers. On the eastern part, the main chain became suddenly wider and the peaks reach over 4,000 meters, 13,000 feet, in the most glaciated part of the Alps. A characteristic in the orography of the Bernese Alps is, that whereas the western of that chain consists of a single series of summits with comparatively short projecting buttresses, the higher group presents a series of longitudinal ridges parallel to the axis of the main chain, and separated from each other by deep valleys that form the channels of great glaciers. Thus the Chinjal Glacier and the Komder Glacier separate the portion of the main range lying between the Gemmi Pass and the Mittagshorn from the equally high parallel range of the Doldenhorn and Blumleis upon its northern side. To the south the same portion of the main range is divided from the still higher parallel range whose summits are the Althorn and the Biathorn by the Lachendal and the Lachenluck. To this again succeeds the deep trench through which the lower part of the Elch Glacier flows down to the Rhone, enclosed by the minor ridge that culminates at the Edgeshorn. It is in the central and eastern portions of the range only that crystalline rocks make their appearance. The western part is composed almost exclusively of sedimentary deposits, and the secondary ridges extending through Bern and the adjoining cantons are formed of Jurassic, Cretaceous, or Eocene strata. Exploration: the beauty of the scenery and the facilities offered to travelers by the general extension of mountain railways make the northern side of the range, the Bernese Oberland, one of the portions of the Alps most visited by tourists. Since strangers first began to visit the Alps, the names of Grindelwald, Lauterbrunnen, and Interlaken have been famous. But unlike many other alpine regions, which have been left to be explored by strangers, this region has been long visited by Swiss travelers and men of science. Among them were the brother Meyer of Aar and Franz Joseph Hugi. They have explored most of the mountain ranges not very difficult of access, and, further than this, have attained most of the higher summits. In 1841, Louis Agassiz, with several scientific friends, established a temporary station on the Underohr Glacier, and, along with scientific observations on the glaciers, started a series of expeditions. The works of Deser and Gottlieb Studer have been followed by several other publications that bear testimony to Swiss mountaineering activity. Notwithstanding the activity of their predecessors, the members of the English Alpine Club have found scope for further exploits, amongst which may be reckoned the first ascents of the Althorn and the Schreckhorn, and the still more arduous enterprise of crossing the range bypasses, such as the Jungfraujoch and Eigerjoch, which are considered amongst the most difficult in the Alps.